AI doesn't reward the most technical person in the room. It will reward the best thinker. And I see this all of the time at the moment. It's like this system, that, and this system, and this system. But what about you? Like, you are the person who are controlling these systems. You are the person who is going to be directing the outputs and what you actually want from this. And there's not enough people who are talking about the actual skills that you need in order to actually maximize using AI. So that's what I'm going to cover today. I'm going to walk through the top 10 biggest and best and most important skills that you need to maximize any system, right? Obviously, everybody knows that I'm all in on Claude because I think it's the best by a country mile with projects, with co-work, with chat, with Chrome, with code, and everything else that it's got now. But for me, even when you are moving into different AI systems and different tools, like these 10 core skills are going to be fundamentally important when you move into absolutely anything. Because if you don't get this right, genuinely, like if you do not get the skills right element of using AI, you will never even come close to actually maximizing what that system can do for you. And people often overlook it. They think that the system's going to come in and just do everything for them. That is not the case in any way, shape, or form. You are going to need to direct every single conversation, every single project, and make sure that you actually know how to maximize the actual system. So let's get straight into it with the top 10 skills that you need as a human being with human intuition and human skills to take these systems to the next level. Skill number one is to focus on what you are actually doing on a day-to-day basis, right? When you look at your days, when you look at your weeks, what I want you to look at is see, right, where is there a lot of repetition? Where am I doing loads of things manually? So for me, what I found 12 months ago was I did so much in terms of writing, and writing was the bottleneck for me to scale my personal media systems, to scale my acquisition, to scale my products, to scale everything. So I enforced writing into the actual system first because I could do anything. Like, anything was possible now. YouTubes are easy, podcast is easy, emails are easy, content is easy, building lead magnets is easy, developing my program is easy. So when I adopted to the mindset of thinking, right, the highest repetition task that I have at the moment is loads of writing per week. When I got that off my plate, I bought so much time back, which also enabled me to do 10 times more. I then had the actual time to put into these systems. A lot of people, what they will do is they will jump at like the rabbit hole or an idea or something, but they don't actually use AI for the thing that they actually need, and that is to buy as much time back as humanly possible. So for me, writing was absolutely number one. And when I saw that repetition and I removed that repetition, I've been able to do so much more in the last 12 months. So what I want you to do is I want you to look at your day, look at your week, and everybody's different, every founder is different, every business is different, and really just see, like, what am I actually doing on a day-to-day basis, which is really repetitive. Focus there first, right? Get all the repetitive, time-consuming tasks off your plate to buy time back to put them into higher ROI activities in your company. Skill number two is to always look at seeing the bigger picture. I want you to start operating in a place of impossibility. So I'm going to talk about the skill of vision in a second, but for me, it's the number one most important element, because people will come in and they'll use like the task or chat function on like a micro level, and it's great because it'll save you so much time and do stuff for you. But what I want you to do is I want you to start thinking from a system perspective. So if you've got an email marketing system as an example, under that you have got the configuration to email nurturing, you've got subjects, you've got copywriting, you've got call to actions, you've then got actually building and scheduling. Like, that's a self-contained system, and there's loads of different moving parts. So rather than just using an AI system to be like, can you write me this email, I want to be setting up a project that will run all of my entire marketing campaigns, and it will not only run my entire marketing campaigns, but it will extract API data, which is the higher level stuff, don't get me wrong, when we get into coding on some of these videos. But even as a baseline starting point, if you've got a project which is going to build your subjects, your copywriting, your call to actions, your nurturing sequences, it can review your actual reporting and end of month to see what subjects have gone best. That's what I mean by bigger picture thinking. Don't just use it on a basic level of asking it a question and getting a response. Start thinking about how you can piece all these different elements together. So as one example, this morning I'm processing end of month reports for my clients. I could easily just stick their feedback into the project and say, can you just give me feedback on what they've said here? But I'm not. I'm extracting my school community, I'm extracting the SOPs that I've built, I'm extracting everything. So when it formulates that output, they're not just going to get a basic response, they're going to get directory on what training they need to go into inside school, what SOP inside of Google Drive they go to immediately for the highest ROI activity, acknowledgement on what they are doing. And this is what I mean by bigger picture thinking, right? Stop thinking about AI on a basic chat level, right? It's not, don't use it like Google, use it like an actual high level assistant, because in every single moving part of your company, whether it is content or email marketing or paid ads or whatever, you've got these individual subsystems that can be pieced together. What I want you to do is think about how you pull all of them into one space to then solve that problem for good. Number 3 is always focusing on first principle thinking. And what I mean by this is constantly stripping everything back to basics. You may have a way of doing things at the moment with AI or even just yourself manually. When you go to rebuild that system within an AI platform, I want you to start from scratch. And you might think, well, that's going to take ages. It doesn't. Nothing takes ages with AI. So when you start from a first principle perspective and first basics perspective, even when you are doing something manually now, what you will find is if you plan this out properly first before you actually start any outputs, you'll have missed so many gaps in whatever you are doing in that system. So when you constantly think from a basics perspective and you always think from a first principle perspective, what that means is you go down to the actual root of what you are trying to achieve. So before just going into an AI system and going, can you do all of this for me? What I want you to start thinking about is, can you go into the AI system and say, can you plan this out for me from scratch at the highest level ROI and activity structure that you can think of doing? Because it will genuinely blow your mind, not just in terms of how much you learn so quickly as well, but when you ask it for that initial plan and you get that initial spec through, you will see so many gaps in the system that you are trying to build when you've just done it manually yourself before. And again, when you do this previously, if first principle thinking is still something that I do manually now, don't get me wrong, but really always make sure that you are not just running straight into do this for me, right? Ask for plans, ask for structures, ask to make it simple so even you can understand it, because sometimes people will start to run high level outputs, but they don't even understand what they're running a high level output on. So always have the mindset when you go into these systems to say, can you give me a plan? Can you build this from the ground up? Can you make sure that I am not missing anything? And once you've got that solidified plan and you're in touch with it and you understand what's actually happening, then yeah, boom, that's when you can start running high level outputs for it. Number 4 is knowing what you actually want. And that is a big reason why I've just said about planning and making sure that you have got the right type of intuition to get the step-by-step processes first, right? If you do not know what you want, you will not get AI to tell you what you need. Right? You need to make sure that when you are coming into adopting this and you are adding a new system into your business, you actually have a clear picture of what you are actually wanting to achieve. One thing that I say to my clients and when I do events and talks and podcasts is you need to operate from a place of impossibility. If you've got a vision for it, then you can achieve it. But if you do not have a vision, then you are never going to be able to build it, right? I see this constantly, and genuinely, I can promise you in the next 6 to 12 months, so many businesses will crash and burn because they've just run outputs, they've bypassed permissions, they've put no time and attention into actually knowing what they're trying to build, and it's all going to crash and burn on them, right? Do not be that person, right? When you go into asking for something, right, if you do not know what you are asking for, ask the AI system to break it down to you so a 5-year-old can understand it. I always use that. Explain this to me as though I'm a 5-year-old so I understand it, especially when you go higher level as well. Right? But you need to have a vision for it. You need to have a good picture of what you are actually wanting to do. And that's absolutely fine if you do not actually even have a clue what you're wanting to do yet. That's where you start with AI. You don't start in building. You don't start in outputs. You start by turning around and saying, can you teach me this? Can you give me more understanding of what I can do in this space? So you can do this within Claude projects, within chat, within anything, right? But the main thing is to make sure that you actually understand what output that you are wanting. Because if you do not understand what output that you are wanting, whether it builds it at a high level or not, you're not going to have a clue. So make sure that you've got your knowledge and your understanding locked in first before you actually start running high level out. Number 5 is check the work, right? So one thing that I always teach people and tell people is run, pause, iterate, right? So when you are running a high level output, let's just say, for example, that this is a 30-day email marketing campaign or a 30-day social media strategy, or you are building out a new asset within your program, or even a meta ad campaign. I use it for everything now, right? The best skill that I can recommend is run the output, pause it, check it, iterate it, then go again. So what a lot of people do is they will run a massive output which goes for pages and pages and pages and pages and pages and pages, and then they will read through every single part of it, right? Or you've got the other side of people who just do not check their outputs in any way, shape or form. That is the worst thing that you can possibly do. Remember, AI is here and it's incredible, but it's never going to be exactly right to what you want to start, right? That's why you need the right type of instructions, the right type of iterations, and the right type of prompts. So my tip is to press start, let it run, pause. So what I mean by that is if you've got 100% of IP that you are looking to generate, let it run for 5 to 10%, pause it, check it, and even little tiny stuff. Is it formatted right? Is it saying the right words? Is it speaking like you? Is it using the right type of punctuation? Is it actually on the right starting point? Because what you will find is in that first 5 to 10%, if you've stopped it, checked it, iterated it, and gone back and forth a couple of times, then it will be fine for the rest of the 90%. And what that does is that enables you to have a hell of a lot more time saved when you are actually running these outputs, because you're not reading for pages and pages and pages and pages. AI will compound on what is right. So you need to make sure that that is right at the start. So let it run, check 5 to 10%, iterate, go back and forth a little bit, make sure that it's got it right, let it run to 100%, and then you've obviously got reading through it, checking it, and then iterating it and going from there. But just to save time, let's just do that. Run, iterate, check, then go from there, right? Never ever just let it run without checking it. And also I think it's silly to just let it fully run to then read it all, to iterate it all, right? Just get it right in that first 5 to 10%. Number 6 is be descriptive, right? The reason that I use whisper flow when I'm speaking to AI, which you'll see on other YouTube videos, it means that I can articulate myself at a high level. I will sometimes run prompts which take me 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes at a time to submit, because I will speak for 60 seconds, I'll pause, I'll think about what other context that I want to add into it, I'll add all that context, I'll then pause again, I'll then go into it again. So being descriptive is so important, because input equals output with AI, right? You need to make sure that you are giving it the right type of input to get the right type of output that you want. If you are not giving it if you are not getting the right type of output that you want over here, it means that your input has been shit, right? So if we want AI to be better, then we need to be better ourselves first. And that starts with articulation, that starts with being descriptive, that starts with being creative. Do not worry about having this formatted in the perfect prompting style or anything like that. You just need to give it as much context and as much information as possible. So just simply describing exactly what you want at high level down to the T will enable you to get to the right type of outputs that you want with AI. If you are just giving it a single sentence basic level prompt, it's got no knowledge base or no instructions or no further information from you, then yeah, you're going to get a shit output, right? Whereas if you've got a strong knowledge base, you've got a strong instruction, and then you've got a strong description alongside that, you will generate high level shit, like serious high level shit. Number 7 is always giving it context, right? So when you are using an AI system, it will normally come under 3 different areas, right? You've got the prompt itself, so that is what you are pasting into the chat and asking it to do. So you've got preset prompts. I've got 450 proprietary goat prompts, but that's just a prompt, right? Then you've got whisper flow to describe exactly what you want. That's one form of input. The next form of context that you need is to make sure that the actual AI system that you are using, whether it is a tool or a project or co-work or whatever it may be, it's got a clear instruction, right? The clear instruction is basically going to tell the AI system how to behave. So if the AI system has just got a really good prompt but no instruction, then it's going to go off your prompt, but it's got no behavioral recommendations in the instructions. So you need to make sure that your prompt is high level level, your instructions are high level, and then most importantly from that point is to actually give it the knowledge base that it needs. So that is basically like the thinking brain of the AI system that you are using. So that might be using connectors, that might be, which I commonly do, is just loading IP around the actual project that I'm looking to build. And once you've got that locked in, it will have enough context. And then what you need to always remember is having the patience as well. Most chat, if you've got memory function on in Claude, for example, within a project, the more outputs and the more iterations and the more prompts that you put into that project space, the better that it's going to become. So even when you've got a high level prompt, great instruction and knowledge base, don't expect it to be perfect straight away at the start, because it will just need to learn a little bit more over time. And I always say to people, like, how much energy and time did it take you to become a fully functioning adult? So it took me quite a while. I don't know about you guys. I enjoyed a party in my early 20s. But if you looked at the amount of energy and time that you consumed from 0 to 25 years old, like, that's a ridiculous amount of volume. Whereas if you give an AI system an hour or 2 hours, you can have that set up at a level which is better than you in every way. We can't win, guys, right? But the thing is, you need to do it right. You need to get it set up properly, because if you do it in a lazy perspective, or you don't have the patience to give it enough time, you're never going to see the benefits of what AI can do for you. Number 8 is have a conversation. What I want you to think about is when you've got your AI system, have a conversation back and forth with it, right? Don't think that you need to be focusing on output all the time. Actually focus on input first. So this is a skill that you definitely have to learn when it comes to terminal coding, that you should never ever get to a point where you are running into edits or running bypassing permissions straight away, because it will literally just go all over the place to get to the outcome that you want. Yeah, it's rapid, yeah, it's fast, but one of the most important things that I always say to people with anything is always build a plan first. What that enables you to do is you've got a solidified starting position, and then once you've got a plan that you're happy with, the AI system will then run a straight line to get to the actual outcome that you want, right? If you are not having a conversation with it and you start here and you want to get to there, then, and you just go, I want this, then it's going to go bounce, it's going to go all over the it'll eventually get there, but it might not be right. So not only are you going to use loads of usage and loads of tokens, but you might even just completely miss the point and be up here somewhere. So description and also having a conversation, right? Make sure that you are building that plan first. You are talking back and forth with it. Ask it questions. If you're unsure on something, just get it to give you that little bit more back, right? And that'll mean that you go from there to there a lot faster and at much higher level as well. Number 9, which is a big human skill, and that is knowing yourself, right? Knowing what is in your scope of practice, knowing what you are good at, knowing what you are not good at. So for example, what I've seen commonly is a lot of people are stepping outside of their scope of practice and claiming they can do X, Y, and Z when they can't actually do it themselves. Right? Not only just from a moral responsibility, I personally don't believe that you should ever do that. Right? I always think that you need to be focusing on delivering on what you actually do in your offer in your company now, and then using AI to supercharge it and super base it on an absolute different level. Right? One thing that I do not agree with is where people are claiming that they can do X, Y, and Z, but they can't actually do it. And I've seen that, and I've found it, and I've also seen people get caught out really quickly with it. So know yourself, know what you're good at, know what you're not good at, and tell AI this as well. So for example, with me, I'm not a big creative person. I'm very system, SOP, and like standard practice driven, because I believe that is the backbone of what builds companies. That's exactly why I give these systems to my clients as copy and paste SOPs, because I want people using the thing before they're just coming into like high level creativity stuff. Sorry, the light in my office has just gone off. There we go. So really important to make sure if you are not good at something, tell the AI. So my AI knows that I'm not very creative. So when I'm asking for a presentation or a PDF or a HTML interactive, whatever, it knows that, so it'll do the creative work for me, right? But at the same time, it also knows that I will direct it on exactly what I want. So make sure that when you're speaking to AI, you know yourself and you know the system, and also tell the AI what you're good at and what you're not good at, and it will become your support partner in it. And then number 10, right, is make the decision. AI is going to come in and it's going to give you loads of options. It's going to give you loads of output. It's going to give you everything that you've never had the time or capability or even skills sometimes to be able to do it, right? But it still comes back down to your decision. It comes down to your intuition. You still need business acumen. You still need a personal brand to understand what is good for your personal brand and what isn't good for your personal brand. And you always need to make sure, and this is exactly why when we go to the start, plan, right? Iterate, have a conversation, make sure you're fully aligned before you run something, because it will still come back down to the end decision of you going, yep, I'm happy with that, or yep, I'm not happy with that. If you have got something and you don't even know if you're happy with it or not happy with it, then that is a risky place to be in when it comes to business, guys. So really, really make sure that you are understanding everything, and then you are getting to a point of you being the person who makes a decision on that being okay, ready to go to the market or ready to go to your clients. So inside of the coach consultant, guys, like I've spoke about on this video, I can give you all of this at the most high level that you have ever seen as a copy and paste SOP, right? And yeah, it's brilliant. Like, look, I can tell you how to run Claude projects at over £90,000 a month in staff wages. I have got interactive, high ROI assessment forms that direct straight people to a high ROI system that they integrate straight into their business. I've got modules and trainings and structures and live calls on building a personal brand that will tackle against people in the actual AI market. Meta ads, you name it, right? But the biggest thing that I always say to people is it's support. Right? Support is everything. So as I spoke about at the start of this video, I'm at the moment processing end of month custom reporting for even people who are just on my group program. So I have my group program Smart Scaling, my one-to-one program, which is Propel, and then my one-to-one personal program, which is TCC Titans, right? I'd love to see you inside at some point, and I'd love you to find out a little bit more about how we operate at the Coach Consultant. And if you go to the description in my bio or even description on this video, right, you can book a call with my team. We don't run high-level pressure sales calls in any way, shape, or form. I don't believe in that. I believe in speaking to someone, finding out what's happening inside the business. If we can help them, yeah, we'll say that we can. If we can't, we won't, and we'll direct you to the right place. But for me, it's not just about the AI system. It's not just about personal branding. It's about the support element. Like, I am there for every single one of my members, every single one of my clients, for every single message that they have, every single thing that they need, and every support imaginable and available, because business is a lot more than just a personal brand and an AI system. It's about supporting the actual human and the vision of what you're wanting to achieve too. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I'd say that this is probably the most high value YouTube video I've put out on using AI. So it depends if people watch it to the back end of it. And again, I'd love to see you inside my program at some point. See you soon.